A's Cast Live continues from the studio. Here's Chris Townsend.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
That is amazing.
Is that good?
That is so good.
Oh,
I couldn't be happier
on.
right now, Chris.
Dun, 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 dun. Monday Night Football. That's the way to, you know what? When you think about the road to the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills starts with Monday Night Football in New York. You get to get after Aaron Rodgers, take them down week 1. Does it get any better than this, Fran?
No, it doesn't. This is a pretty exciting opening week for the Bills, and it'll be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers is in New York. And I'm in Texas right now, so being able to watch the Bills on an off day in Texas doesn't get any better.
Yeah, I was thinking about it like, oh yeah, you guys got Mondays off, and think about just what it means for the Bills. This is the year, right? It's been building up. You got your quarterback. He seems like he's on every commercial, Verizon commercial now. He's getting his love. It's like, this is it, right? Brady's gone. Miami might be a problem. Let's be honest. Miami might be a problem. But this division right now, this is your destiny is in your own hands.
I agree. The division is pretty tough, though. I mean, you mentioned Miami, and we'll see how the Jets are. They obviously have a very good defense, and see how Rodgers does. But it's not a cupcake division at all, and it'll be interesting to see how we come out this year.
Just how nice has it been to have that set day off, where it's like a Monday, where everybody knows, whether I just need to relax, I got to pay some bills, I got to do some laundry, or even when you're on the road, just get your feet up. It's been obviously a long season. AAA plays a long season. Just how big is it to know that you got this one day and you can count on it every single week?
It's great because there's not a lot of stability in the minor league lifestyle. And to have that stability of having the 1 day a week off, what day it is. We travel a lot, so that's usually our flight day if we're going on the road or if we're coming home. And it just gives you a little buffer zone in between the 6-game series we play to just kind of regroup, recharge, relax. And, depending on what you're doing, depending on where you are, get a nice dinner, do something fun in whatever town you're in. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy the 1 day off a week.
How much do you talk to your players about, hey, what you need to do, what's best for you? As you mentioned, sometimes it's about having fun. Sometimes it's about having rest. How much do you guys have those discussions with the players?
Just kind of conversations about work, life, baseball balance in general, because all these guys have a lot of stuff going on, and you can't grind on one thing too much, or else it'll consume you. You do need the mental relaxation, the physical relaxation sometimes. And at the same time, when we go back to work tomorrow, we'll get to work, we'll get after it, and, play hopefully the best baseball of the season, these last 12 games of the regular season.
The minor league season is so interesting because of all the player movement. You got to deal with all of that. We've talked to you before about, hey, the number one thing is getting guys ready to come up and play at the big league level, and you're going to lose guys. You're going to have guys come back, guys go up. But in the end, you want to win. You're super competitive. You guys are playing well here in the second half. You're leading as we speak over Reno. What is that like as a manager to where you have this roller coaster ride of all these different things going on that you need to prepare and get ready for? But in the end, still you as a manager, you want to win.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. We want to win every game. And I think if you just have the mentality that every day is like a different movie, there's a very slim chance you're going to have the same roster in AAA for, best case scenario, more than a week at a time. And this season's been no different. I don't think we've had the same roster for 3 days in a row, let alone a week. But it's just part of the game. It's part of the job, and it's part of the fun and challenge of, no matter who you have on the roster that day, no matter who's pitching, who's in the bullpen, if they've taken 5-year guys, or you're getting 5 other guys, but they're traveling, so you're short. It's just part of it, and you just have to make do on any given day. And I think I think our staff and players have done a good job of that this year.
How much do you think that's made you a better manager?
Well, I certainly think it helps me with my ability to adapt, adjust, be fluid, understanding that it happens. I've been doing this for a decent amount of time now, and I'd like to say that nothing surprises me, but sometimes you get a curveball and it's like, whoa, that's never happened before. But I think it has helped me. I think it has helped me improve with my ability to think and react and judge certain things on the fly and just go with the flow and go with what we have on any given night.
Yeah, I believe, and you're very humble, but I believe you're going to manage in the big league someday. And I just wonder, when you do have these long series, when you do have stuff that's abnormal to the big league level, the type of preparation, how that prepares you. Because I think the one thing that we don't talk about enough with managers is the chaos that you got to deal with on and off the field. You're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with guys, especially older guys who have wives and families and kids. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with that you will have to deal with at the big league level. That's why just all this chaos around you, to me, seems like great preparation for the big leagto
I agree. I agree. And being able to have the demeanor in the midst of chaos that, like I talked about earlier, the lack of stability for a lot of things that happen in minor league baseball, just to be that stable presence and that kind of hopefully calming presence when things go awry or things are happening quickly. And like you said, the human side of it, where these guys all have different lives, personalities, family situations, come from all different places. And yeah, I think it does kind of help just to have the experience of just trying to remain as calm as you can in any of these situations.
When you have some guys who are on a little bit of the younger side, how important is it to finish the journey where we talk about getting through that long season? Because not only at the big league level, but at the AAA level, these guys, some of these young guys, it's the most games they've ever played in a year.
Yeah, and that's you have to give these guys a lot of credit, because I don't have to have a lot of conversations with them about their work ethic or what they're doing to prepare their bodies, what they're doing to prepare their minds before games. It's just a very professional group that I have a lot of trust in, that they're going to do the right thing, before games, during games, after games. And that's really a sign of a good group of people, a good group of players. And I think the results are starting to come on the field, because we're playing our best baseball when, they should be at their most tired. They should be at their most beat up. They should be, not putting out their best efforts. And we're seeing the opposite. So a lot of credit to those guys.
How cool is the playoffs when you get in and everybody knows each other? There's like no secrets. You guys have played so many games, and you play, 6-game series are crazy to think you play the same guys over and over again. Just what take us through what the playoffs are like.
Well, I tell you what, these 6-game series and going into hopefully a playoff berth, you almost have to try new things, think of new things, new plays, new signs, new positioning, whatever the case is, just something that maybe can give you a competitive edge, because we have seen these teams so many times throughout the course of a 150-game season. But at the end of the day, the question was, how is it to make the playoffs? And it's unbelievable. We won the division in 2019 and went to the playoffs, the first team in Aviators history, and we've positioned ourselves to do the same thing. And the guys have bought in. The guys are excited. The guys are playing for that reason right now. I mean, among others. And a lot of times in AAA seasons, at the end of the year, if you're not playing for much, it's tough to motivate guys. It's tough to get guys to dig deep and finish out the last 10, 15, 20 games. And another thing that we don't have to worry about, these guys are engaged, they're locked into what they're doing, and they're playing a really intense, really fun, really focused type of baseball right now.
It's one thing when a guy wears you out for 3 straight games. In these long series, how do you handle a offensive player who's either worn you out throughout the season, or he's worn you out, like, let's just say, the first 4 games? I mean, at some point you get tired of a guy wearing your ass out. So, what kind of changes? What do you do going, I'm tired of this guy beating me? How do you go about that?
That is such a great question because there's always one guy every team we play that will just kill us.
Yeah.
And we'll try to mix up our approach with him. We'll try to pitch him differently. We'll try to pitch him inside, knock him off the dish a little bit. And for whatever reason, and our guys do it to other teams too. I think it's just across the game in the PCL. There's always one guy that just kills you for the series and maybe kills you for the season. And it's just a confidence thing with him. It's just maybe he feels comfortable playing against the Aviators or whatever the case is. You're just always trying to make adjustments that, if he lines out a couple times, you're like, oh, at least we got him out a couple times. But that's definitely an issue, and it's a great question.
All right, so some of the players that we've been looking at, now that you've got to see Darell Hernaiz, we know he's an offensive player. He's still young. What do you view as his future defensively? Shortstop, third? Where do you view him defensively long term?
I mean, I think he can play all three, third, short, and second. He's played probably 90% of his games here at shortstop, and he's done a really nice job. He works very hard at it. He wants to stay at the shortstop position. There's been some people that have told him, hey, you might end up a second baseman, you might end up a third baseman. And at the end of the day, he wants to play in the big leagues. And I don't care. I don't think he would care much if he was playing at second base or third base in the big leagues. But at the same time, he's got a really, really high belief in his skill set to play shortstop. And that's what he wants to do in the big leagues. And I just don't doubt that this kid can do anything that he wants to do because he has such incredible self-belief and confidence in his abilities. And I just wouldn't put anything past Darell because I think he's that good of a player.
All right. Speaking of second base, I came up with this over the weekend. A guy that used to play for you, he's now starring for the Oakland Athletics, is Zach Geloff. We've been trying to come up with a comp, but it's like I'm a dinosaur now when I bring people up because all these young people that I work with, they have no idea. I was trying to think, who does he remind me of? I came up with Ryne Sandberg. What do you think about that as a comp for Zach Geloff?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty high praise, but I would say that Zach has the ability to turn in the kind of career that Ryne Sandberg turned in. I mean, just so athletic and so gifted on both sides of the ball, the way he runs bases, his mindset and the way he goes about everything. Yeah, that's a really good one, actually. I wouldn't call you a dinosaur for saying that.
Fran, you would have thought I was talking about a guy in the 1930s.
It's not like you dropped a Honus Wagner on him.
I mean, I felt like I was like sharpening spikes, taking trains, playing in woolly uniforms. That's what I like. Ryne Sandberg, like I forget a lot of these kids. Because the reason why I went with Sandberg is Sandberg early in his career ran a lot. Like there was a year he had 54 stolen bases, multiple years he had 30. He's 6'1", Geloff's about 6'2". There's a lot of, when you look at their games, seem very similar. And I've just been looking for a comp, and I like that one. Brett Harris, how is he doing?
Well, he's doing great. Are you asking about how he's doing on the field or how he's doing physically after getting hit with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the face?
I didn't see that. My God, is he all right? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, honestly, it was best case scenario. I mean, he took it flush in the face, and he handled absolute champ. But yeah, there's no facial fractures, and he still has all his teeth. He had to get 6 stitches in his lip, and he's got some concussion symptoms. But all things being equal, it was really the best case scenario for taking that kind of violent hit by pitch. But before that, he was fantastic. Playing a great third base and hitting the ball real well and making adjustments that he needed to make. And hopefully he only gets to miss a few games and get back on the field for us.
Are you excited for a lot of your guys for this coming spring training that I mean, we're going to have just a massive fight everywhere for jobs. I can't wait. It's going to be a bunch of young guys. We're all going to be there. Let's fight it out for who's going to be the 26. I think you got a lot of guys on your roster that got a shot next year. Are you excited for that?
I am. We have a lot of really good, young, hungry players. And, I've had conversations about that exact thing, going into spring training next year and fighting for a spot on the big league roster. And there is going to be quite a few people from this roster that are going to, make those bids and make those pushes to make the big league team. And I think it's exciting. I think anytime there's competition for the highest level in sports, it's a good thing for the organization, for the players, for a winning environment, a winning atmosphere, because the competition in spring training and usually spills over into the competition of the season. And the more good players you have competing for those spots, chances are the better off your major league team is going to be. So I think it's going to be a really good spring training next year.
One more on the team, Joey Estes. What have we seen so far? I believe he's still 21 or just turned 22.
Yeah, he's going to be really good for how young he is, how mature he is, how poised he is on the mound, the way he competes, his focus, his energy. You can see it in the way people defend behind him. He is really good tempo, and I haven't even started talking about his stuff, which is really good as well. He's taken some learning curve lumps that a lot of people take when they come up to a different level, and he's smart as a whip and is doing a really nice job of making adjustments. And I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him.
Well, back to football, the most important thing here. You realize Super Bowl's in Las Vegas. So when the Bills are in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, you're not going to have to make crazy travel plans. You got the place to stay. You know the lay of the land. This is going to be an easy Super Bowl for you.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. But
what are you talking about? You got to believe. If you don't believe, you can't get there.
You got to believe. I appreciate the confidence. Hey, I will tell you a great story. Well, like I said, we just landed in Austin and drove to Round Rock, and it's an off day, and the staff is looking for a place to watch the game. And the Anchor Bar is the original chicken wing restaurant, started in Buffalo, 75 years ago.
The Mojo.
Yeah. Well, guess what? There's an Anchor Bar franchise here in Round Rock, of all places. Is that not a sign?
Call my bookie and let's put all our money on the Bills to win the Super Bowl. It's out in front of us right now.
Yeah. So we're heading over there after this call, actually, and we're going to, belly up to about 200 chicken wings and watch the Bills beat the Jets tonight.
You're telling me a franchise that started in Buffalo is in Austin, Texas?
Yeah, and there's not even there's maybe 5 franchises of this place in the entire country, and one of them's in Texas.
What in the Jim Kelly is going on? That is a sign.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, I'm very happy for your, but do you have it? Monday Night Football. As a Raider fan, going in week 1, winning in Denver, your first win in division in a tough place to play is huge. You go in week 1, it's only week 1, but you go into New York, Aaron Rodgers, win week 1 on the road in division. People really don't realize when you talk about how hard it is to win in sports, it's hard to win in the NFL on the road in division. This will really be huge for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully a great way to start the season, and hopefully a fun game. It should be fun to watch 2 offenses and 2 really good defenses battle it out. So we'll see. Looking for AFC East domination tonight for the Bills.
Chicken wings, beer, Monday Night Football, and a Bills win. Go have fun, my friend, and we always appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you when you guys are in the playoffs.
All right. Thanks a lot.